Yo, YouTube, what's crackin' lackin' jackin' smackin'? It's Wolfman for video, and today I'm gonna be reviewing NBA 2K14 Next Gen for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Now, I already reviewed two modes, which was, the park, as you can see I'm playing right here, and the online league. So in this video, I'm only gonna briefly touch those modes, of this game, but I'm gonna talk about mostly the other modes of this game, including my career, my team, and even online, and also the gameplay and the graphics of this game, and also the presentation. So let's start off with the basics. NBA 2K14's menu. Now I know this might be a big it might not be a big deal, but presentation does matter, and looking at it from a standpoint, whereas 2K13's menu and 2K12's menu, those menus were better than 2K14's menu. I mean, 2K14's menu, you come into NBA 2K14's menu and you feel like there's nothing in the game. Like, you could see NBA Today, my career, my GM, and my team and the features, but it's like there's no modes in the game. That's what it feels like, at least at first. So the menu is just very bland. There's nothing going on. It's not better than the old menus. I suppose it's easier to get into the modes, but it was easier to get into the modes in NBA 2K13 as well. So I don't know why they went away from the way they've changed their menus. And the fact that these menus are just so bland, I don't understand that. And I mean, it's easier to get into modes with this menu, but it's not good to look at. It feels like the game is just really simple and basic, and there's nothing in it. But anyways, the first thing on the menu is NBA Today, and that's where you can get your quick game, your NBA Today stuff. And the NBA Today menu is new, and it's a new part of the game, and it's similar to the way Madden has been doing it, to where it gives you highlights of the games during the night and stuff. And I like it, but the only thing about the menu, inside the menu, is that the presentation of that menu is also bad. I mean, it's very classic, and we're not in the past, we're in the future. I don't know why it looks like that. The standings of the players and the freaking stats, they look horrible. But nonetheless, the screen for the in-game camera for the realistic games in the NBA, that's also a little bit too small. But let's just move on. The quick game is there again. Same thing. Quick game is just basically quick game. They added the EuroLeague teams, which I could care less about the EuroLeague teams. I don't think anyone really cares about EuroLeague teams. The only thing that EuroLeague teams could do is basically, if you want to play in private team up, then you could use the EuroLeague teams. Otherwise, you can't use the EuroLeague teams online, or I doubt they're in quick match team up. So in that menu, there's also practice mode. Same thing as before. It gives you basic tips. Not the best practice mode, I mean tutorial, but it's there. So let's move on to the other parts of the menu, which is the roster. Now the roster does look good. It actually has two views you could view the roster from. So the roster looks the same. It's the same as the other roster, except that this roster, you don't get that much freaking updates for these rosters as before. The rosters usually update every week. I don't feel like these rosters update every week, so that could be a thing they probably fix, because I feel like sometimes you see these rosters and not all the players are updated to where they're supposed to be. And another part of this menu is where you see the online leagues, and like I said before my previous video of the online league review, the online league is the bare bones mode. There's basically nothing in it. There's no point to play it, and it needs to go back to the way it was in NBA 2K13 and NBA 2K12 even. Because the online league in this mode is just horrible, and no one wants to play this. There's no fantasy draft. I mean, how could you not have a fantasy draft? You can't set the league's time limit. There's so many glitches in it. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it glitches out. Sometimes you can't even play a match, and the matches take too long to start. And I don't even have to go to the fact that you have to create your own roster, because if you use the roster that 2K gives you, then you're gonna have injured players on injured teams, and they will not get uninjured even if they become uninjured in real life. So those players will stay injured forever. So I had to create my own roster, which took time, because there's no rosters that are not injured. So I had to change all the ratings. I had to do everything myself. So I was taking my time to do everything 2K should have done for the game itself, for online leagues. So online leagues just gets a plain F in my book. It's just the worst, you know, effort by 2K I've ever seen for an online league. It's not even an association, that's why it's a league, but it's, I mean, no fantasy draft? Can you at least give us a fantasy draft? So now let's move on to my career. But actually, no, I didn't touch up on the online. So the online, I don't know about the online, but you know, quick match is basically the same thing. Quick match team up is basically the same thing, except you still can't veto teams, you know, you still get the same teams. And another thing I would like to see from quick match in the future is to switch players, because if a player leaves the match as one of the top players, you know, on the team, then, you know, that's just useless. No one wants to be playing with scrubs and then the top player on the team is a CPU. I think in the future the game should allow us to like pick our position, so at least if we don't get the best player, we get a player that we like to be. Otherwise it's just pointless. And this game needs to stop bringing in more good teams, because I feel like most of the time when you play quick match team up, you get a lot of bad teams, and it shouldn't be like that. So maybe they should bring the veto system back, but I'm not sure about that. That's up to you guys, and it's up to the community as a whole. But let's talk about my career mode. Now my career mode went in a new direction in this game with cutscenes and, you know, all this stuff you could do and all the, you know, innovation. The problem with my career is that it's too scripted. Like, everyone almost follows the same path, and that's the problem. It's supposed to be my career, not our career. And by that I mean everyone's rival is Jackson Ellis. It doesn't matter what position you pick. We all have the same rival, which is Jackson Ellis. And I guess that's fine, but it gets a little bit corny at some points. And sometimes the jokes are a little bit corny, and everything that goes on is corny a little bit. Now, pertaining to where you get drafted, I think it's completely a little bit too scripted, as well as I've been saying before, because you get drafted, but I outperformed Jackson Ellis at the draft, and you guys all saw that in my video, and I actually killed it in the draft, in the rookie showcase, and yet I get drafted after Jackson Ellis, and I'm not even in the top 10. So that doesn't even make sense to me. That's so scripted. And then, you know, you got all this stuff, and another thing about my career is the trade. I just think overall the AI in this game is just not right. It's not smart. The AI in this game needs a lot of work on the court and off the court, because off the court the AI does some stupid decisions pertaining to the management of the team and all that stuff. And the reason I say that is because I got traded, and it just, some of the trades don't even make sense. Even the trades the CPU makes for the other players don't even make any sense sometimes. And an example is me getting traded to the Pacers, but I'm a shooting guard, so why would they trade me to the Pacers? I understand Paul George could play small forward, but still, they have Lance Stevenson, they have Danny Granger, Paul George. Why am I being traded to the Pacers? I didn't even put that team as one of the teams I like to get traded to. And also, during my second season, or my first season, I get traded, you know, and I'm like a 90 overall, and I'm getting traded for crap. And that also doesn't make any sense, because I'm in my rookie contract, so that doesn't really make any sense to me. Especially in the pre-draft interviews, where I got interviewed by the Thunder, and I thought I was actually gonna go to the Thunder because I actually told them I wanted to be a part of OKC, and I still didn't get drafted by the Thunder. So what's the point of that if I'm not even gonna be, you know, drafted by them? And I didn't even get drafted by any of the teams I talked to. And another thing about my career on the court, the AI seems so useless. I don't know, but everybody, and you can even see this on YouTube, there's a lot of people on YouTube like Chris Move, you know, YMD Gentle, even iPod King Carter. They score a lot of points with their my careers, and even I score a lot of points. I mean, you guys see me drop 50 points a couple times, and I get it, we're all superstars, but it's a rookie season, you know, and the fact that we could even get to a 90 overall in the rookie season is just amazing. But the reason we're scoring these many points is because the AI on our team is useless, and that's just fact. The AI doesn't make good decisions. They don't shoot well. And even though I'm on the Warriors, as you can see, you know, I still don't get enough help. Like, I mean, Stephen Curry is useless, absolutely useless on the Warriors. Why is he useless? I just don't understand. He's supposed to be a superstar almost type like player, which he is becoming in this league, and he's useless. He can't shoot for his life. I don't understand why. And that brings me to another point that's not relevant to my career, because, you know, you're using your own player, but the shot releases in this game really need to be fixed, because the shot releases in 2K13 felt a lot smoother than these. These feel really weird. I'm not sure if you guys feel it, but I just feel like these shot releases feel weird, and they're not right and they're not smooth enough, because Carmelo's jumper used to be on point, and it's still on point in this game, but I don't feel it's that smooth as it was before in 2K13, and I think that needs to be fixed. But let's get back to my career and the AI being so bad as it is. The AI just makes some stupid decisions, and it just drives me insane when the AI doesn't do what it's supposed to do. They can have an easy layup, and instead they do a crazy, you know, reverse layup. They do a layup with the left hand. They miss layups. I mean, come on, man. I mean, this is the NBA, and even though, you know, this is a game and you know, stuff happens where people miss, they can't be missing like that. I mean, it just gets to a point where it's like they can't miss that stuff. So yeah, my career is going in the right direction, but you know, it's too scripted. The AI is still too stupid and too dumb to even be like a normal AI in regular games, and it just needs to be fixed. And they also removed a lot of stuff in my career, including, you know, the legendary training camps, and you know, you can't practice with your My Career anymore. You know, there's no more shooting, there's no more drills at all. There's no drills at all. The only drills I've done so far is the free throw drill, which isn't even a drill. It's a scripted event which happens to everybody, and sometimes the game just brings up practices for you. But other than that, you can't practice with your My Career. You can't scrimmage, you can't do any training, you can't practice, you can't do any drills. So there's basically nothing to do. The only thing you could do is, you know, play the next game, and you know, you can pick your endorsements and all that stuff, but that happens as the season progresses. And you know, after that, My Career becomes the same thing all over again. It's just playing game after game after game. There's like almost no point to playing it after the first season. You just don't feel that you don't have that initiative. And after the first season, you actually, in the second season, you are able to play key games only, which the first season, you know, I understand why they made us play every game, but you know, some people still don't want to play every game, and you know, maybe they can make it a way so you could play, you know, choose what games you want to play, you know, maybe give us a little bit of more flexibility. But yeah, My Career is going in the right direction, but they need to kind of change things up for it to be a better mode. Now let's talk about, you know, my team before I discuss my GM, because my team is a mode that I really don't play, so I don't have that much information on it. But my team seems to have gotten better, as I heard. You know, they included a lot more modes in it, and similar to Madden Ultimate Team, this My Team actually includes, you know, collections and all that stuff. You can actually finally play with your friends, and you know, there's a bunch of challenges and a bunch of, you know, things that 2K gives to make my team a good mode. So I think my team has improved a lot over the past year, since it's only been in 2K games for about 2 years now, and this is the second time. So my team is going to keep improving. The only thing I have to say about my team is that I still think that seeing people's videos on YouTube and seeing other people play, that my team is just still a little bit too much based on how some people put money in the game, because I see a lot of people doing a lot of pack openings and, you know, having like 100,000 VC, and I'm like, whoa, how you get that much VC from my team like that? I don't think that's possible. But anyways, it keeps on improving, so hopefully we see more from that. And my GM mode, real quick, my GM mode, you can't play multiplayer offline with my GM mode, and VC does not belong in my GM mode. That's all I have to say. VC just ruins my GM mode, because there's so much you can't do if you don't have VC, and I think that's the wrong step to go to, because VC is kind of difficult to get. I mean, you could play the games and you get like 500 VC for playing each game in my GM, but that's not enough to, you know, cover everything. And VC is used in my career and my GM, so there's just not enough to go around, and I just don't understand how they do it like that. That was a bad decision by 2K in my personal opinion. And my GM is the perfect mode for online gameplay. I mean, MyGM Online, that would be the perfect mode. Instead, this MyGM, it just feels like it's fun at first. It gets, you know, fun, but sometimes it just gets boring because it just I don't know. I can't explain it. But yeah, overall 2K14 is a decent game. There's a lot of work that needs to be done with this game. And let me just touch upon the park for a quick moment. The park's problem is the waiting problem in the park. I mean, you go into a match and you just wait and wait and wait. And I can't believe they haven't patched 2K14 in a while, because the park still glitches sometimes, where sometimes you can't join your friend, and sometimes the courts are actually glitched, where the courts don't even work properly, and the players themselves have to fix it. And I'm surprised that they haven't even touched upon this problem, because I've played with Ronnie 2K and LD 2K, and they've actually seen the park not working and the court being glitched. It's actually in one of my videos. So they've seen the problem not working, and I've even played with them and talked to Ronnie 2K in that match, in one of the matches I played with them, and he actually complained about the game. And, you know, I was like, you need to talk to the developers about that. You know, you need to get it done. So hopefully 2K15, you know, fixes what this game has failed to, you know, promise on. And you know, the best part about this game actually is the graphics. The graphics in this game are amazing, top down, one of the best graphics you see on next gen so far, other than Killzone Shadowfall and Battlefield 4. But you know, the graphics for 2K are just phenomenal. But that's the only thing about it. And you know what? I have to give them to them for the park moves, because those park moves are pretty amazing. Those moves are amazing. But anyways, I'm gonna give NBA 2K14 a 7 out of 10 because it's a good game, but it doesn't hit on quite all the cylinders that it needs to hit. And you know, it's not a spectacular game, but it's a game that you'll be enjoying for a while and you'll be addicted to. But it could have been way better. And in my honest opinion, I think this might have been the worst 2K to date. And that's not saying that it's a bad game or anything, but that's just saying that, you know, 2K needs to just step that game up a little bit, because this game could have been a great game. And I think, in my opinion, I would have rather had NBA 2K14 current gen, you know, as NBA 2K14 next gen with the graphics and the park, because the park is actually a good mode when it works. When it works, the park is a great mode, and it's a much easier mode to play with subscribers and, you know, to play for community. Because Blacktop, let's be honest, Blacktop, it's just too hard to get together, because you actually need, well, you don't need players. You can play a Blacktop by yourself, but you know, the ability to have the, you know, full court 3v3s, that's all we wanted, full court matches. And another thing about the park is that the 5v5 courts are way too small. Those courts are just a mess. They just need to fix that. What they need to do is bring 4 versus 4 courts, because 4 versus 4 full court is perfect. I played that in Blacktop offline, and that is just amazing. That's just a great experience. So anyways, YouTube, NBA 2K14 gets a 7 out of 10. And yeah, I guess that's it. I'm out. Peace.